The Planning Commission,
Wait, look at the mics.
you know,
Speak. There we go.
I'd like to call the Planning Commission to order. If we could all stand and have pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic.
This is off, and it was off. So what's going on?
Yeah. We just had it adjusted.
Okay. The mics are back on now.
At this time, I'd like to have a roll call of the commissioners.
Carl Granzo, present.
Randy Thomas, present.
Sarah Coates, present.
David Smith,
Like, look her locally.
Okay. Moving along, we're going to look at here, we're going to add, we have changes to the agenda. And I'm gonna go through it, or are you,
Would you like me to?
yes, we're gonna direct the information over here to our city manager.
I don't.
Yikes.
Sorry, we just had them adjusted, so that. I think I'll just talk really loudly. Oh, we don't have to do that. Okay.
Now that I turned them down, try one more time.
Okay. On.
Yes.
Okay.
They need to come
Sorry.
back out, I'd say.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Because there was not approving minutes, I propose that we add changes to the agenda to approve minutes. Number 4B is change item 10 to public comment, and also public comment was heard June 27th of 24, and to close the hearing rather than to recess. Item 14 would be to adjourn and add commissioner comments to number 13. If that is acceptable to the commission, we could approve that.
I believe this is appropriate. I'm pretty sure any of the executive of that. The fellow commissioners understand that.
I don't see anything past, item 11.
On the other side,
No, we don't have it.
Oh, it's right up.
Yeah, and it's on the back.
Oh, okay.
It was handed.
I don't have it either.
So are we going to approve that agenda then? Will we change that? So as far as approving the minutes, is it this moment to post the minutes and go on, or?
would you like to approve those changes and the agenda as those changes?
Yeah. In other words, change it back. Yeah. Okay, we'll follow what we have right this moment, as you were saying.
So you would need a motion to approve the changes to the agenda.
Do I have a motion? I'll make a motion. Agenda changes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, those who,
Discussion.
is there a discussion?
I'd like to know why it wasn't, why was it missed? Why was? Just out of curiosity, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know we're adding it, but at the last minute,
Well,
it seems like,
I think that the issue was that we were trying to get a lot of information in, that we had a little bit of overlook a bit, but make it for the bigger parts. I didn't think that was going to be a huge criteria. If there had been something a lot bigger, I think that would have been more to, like. I just don't know what the outcome would be if we decided to make that a big, issue.
I'm just seeing a pattern. Last month, we had other stuff added or misplaced in our packets as well that weren't complete.
Well, I'm hoping that these 2 months will be nothing but our training data
Okay.
and not to be a mark of any kind of thinking that it's going to be pursued. I think it's very good. The point's taken. I think it's already been digested and we'll go ahead and make sure we don't do that again.
That's not a huge change.
No, it's
I
not.
worry about our situation, I'm gonna say, that we do not overlook the small issues that can be big, but that we don't allow the small issues to overcome us on the issues that are at hand. Nothing I'd like to see better than see our commission have our agenda handled and then allow to keep things through. In a bog down. I'm excited about what we can finish within the next or the next years of approaching. So I'm hoping we can do that, but yes, David, thank you for your comment. Are there any other comments? We need to vote on the agenda. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Nay. We have 3 yeas and 1 nay. Okay, action item. Let's see. Now, I think we can we move it, and we move and approve the minutes? Have everybody had the opportunity to look at the minutes? And any questions on them? They're pretty much forward. And is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, second. I'll second. Okay, all approved?
Aye.
Okay. All gone. Okay, so I'm looking at our list. It's a very nice issue here. I'm looking here, give me 1 moment. Okay, and our public comments, is this where we're gonna start at this moment?
Yes.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And do we have any comments on the, any people on our, Zoom?
We have people on Zoom, but they don't seem to be commenting.
Okay,
I'm sorry, our sound system, we just had it fixed, but it's a lot of feedback, so I'm sorry that if we could speak out so that they can hear.
Anything you guys.
you can come right, you can move closer. Sometimes I'm just thinking that's okay.
Concerned about the
I mean, we're
recording too.
trying our bestest to get it.
Well, I
Thank you for your input.
Yeah.
It's important that you guys hear us. There's no, thank you.
Leo.
If you speak from the mic, we can hear you really
Well,
well.
wait for a mic that's gonna work without
Yeah.
piercing our ears.
You know, I don't want it to be the only one. I want to have the companionship.
Yeah,
Besides, the army guys think together.
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Well, I'll go with the-
I didn't hear you. What did you say?
Hey, I'll give you my left
Oh, I
ear.
tell you what, I've been trying to borrow a few already. A lot of people have been giving me some of their ear. Let's look at this back. You're okay now? Here.
Okay,
Okay. So basically, we're in our public comment. Now, citizens comment, let's say. I want to make sure it's a few minutes, it's not a long term. Any issues that you have are important. We're not going to interrupt you. We have 3 minutes. Just so that we keep the thing going. If you have issues after that, we can discuss it. But issues are very important or we wouldn't be here. So who would be willing to make the first citizen comment?
we have.
Oh,
So we have a list. People sign up.
oh,
So there's order.
oh, I love it.
So Leo is first with his container.
We'll have to get to the.
No.
No, you're
Okay.
fine.
I was here last meeting, and I asked for an interpretation of putting a 20 by 8 container in my backyard. And you guys thought that we were gonna discuss it and bring it to a resolution this meeting. Are we there? Are we okay to do that, or do we need to go for another 30 days to get this done? And if so, I need to know what the bureaucracy is so that I can start cutting teeth.
You know, here's what we're gonna do, sir. We're going to go ahead on item 11. We're gonna go through that as an interpretation. So we're gonna look at it tonight as an interpretation to see where we're going to go with that.
I don't need to stay here for that long.
You should.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
I mean, you're okay. I mean, I took a shower and dressed up.
I saw
I
that.
mean, I
I saw
wanted you
you
to
put
be
gel
here
on
to
your
enjoy it.
hair.
So don't you dare leave.
I will.
I spent a lot of time getting myself all worked up.
You
And
know,
this information will be good for you.
absolutely.
Okay, okay. You can lay down. It's family. We're late.
Yeah, I realize.
Okay, our next,
It's Bill.
Yeah.
With his property of 800 Railroad.
Bill,
Am I supposed to be, I don't know protocol, I'm supposed to speak to you then?
you can speak to the whole commission.
I'll let you do it, because I only got
Okay,
2 eyes.
and my name's Randy. Okay.
Basically, I leased this property out here. In the beginning, I'll be honest, I didn't do good deals. Neither did the person that leased the property, and I didn't know it. But the reality is, I got this notification that I was in violation of, this contract.
You can put it down however you wish.
About right here.
That's good.
I'm just gonna read the notes that I put down here about this particular violation. Would you like to see this, or do you think?
Oh.
I have applied for the conditional use permit and paid for it. Okay. The check was given to the city manager some time ago, and so it in the bank and what I want. Number 2. I just want to put each point of it. Number 2 is more than one recreational vehicle does not apply. We're not creating an RV park. Well, at the top is strictly storage. There'll be nobody living in no RV park using whatsoever. It's just for storing vehicles. Storing RV. The ultimate goal of this yard is a high-end RV storage park. And there won't be any connection. There's no power. There's no water. There's no nothing on the property. Whatever reason. We're not cooking any of that up. It's just the parking. That's it. So, business license has been applied for, has been received. Okay. There's no definition available of the rule LMC 93.05 as far as what's considered junk. I read this and I read this and I read this. And the only thing I can see that it applies to actually works in my favor. I'm going to tell you why, because I think it applies to residential properties that are collecting trash and vehicles and RVs in their front yard. We give the city a way to try and mitigate that. The reality is, I'm the guy who can help you get that done. Everything that goes into my yard is not junk, except for one reason, for me to find a way to make money on it and move it out and get rid of it. Clean the streets up. Abandoned vehicles, abandoned RVs, all of these things, I can actually help the city solve. In fact, I can tell all your city vehicles, any cars on city property, once you get your procedures in place, you can tag the car for 72 hours, another contract with me, I can tow them away, put them in disposal. There's a step process for that to do that. But I don't want to take up all my time explaining all the different rules involved. You only got a few minutes, yeah, I know that. I have everything I need, a license by the state and the management of all of it. And it will help the city out tremendously. Adding me here is actually a plus. The yard, there's an issue about the view, a triangle view in the corner. They want me to cut out a part of my fence so that you can see around the corner. When you look at the corner, mine's the only one you can see around. Everybody else is the one across the street. I think it's the Water Sweetness property. You can't see past that south line. That property is in violation since 2006. You know what I understand, but I'm not going to go into that. But mine, you pull right up to the stop sign and look all the way down the road. There's no blockage. You can see I'm coming back, no problem. So I don't think it would be a lot.
So your time is up, but I do have a question.
Okay,
You should take this issues up with the city. We here are not able to enforce any
Right.
issues. We are here to interpret the ordinances and follow, and then hand it over to our
we're talking about,
enforcement people and the city manager, who will then talk it with that. You fall under that particular issue. We're not gonna help you very good,
the
but we can direct you to that route.
reality is on this property, if you look at all of the zoning involved in general commercial policy, it strictly says we can do everything I'm doing. The reality is this should have just been looked at, said, yep, he needs everything, and it should have been administratively signed off, and we should have been on our way. Right now, the way I look at it, the city's wasting time and money fighting with me over this, but I'm trying to follow every rule in the book. You've been by that yard. You've
So
seen
by
the work
everything-
that I've done. And there's a lot more coming. It's gonna get street lights, it's gonna finish out the rock, and have a screen fence so nobody can see into it, and hiding everything. And there literally is no junk in that lot. Some of the vehicles are older, but they also get taken to the dump. So as I gather them up, I make processes, I charge money to help people move these vehicles from the property. I have waited to help the city get to the VRD for really, really reduced costs. You guys are paying $1,000, $2,000 to get rid of an RV here, that's why you don't do it. But I can make that cost.
And no interruption, no issue. You understand,
Okay,
but I'm trying to direct you that we can only do so much here.
right.
Your issue is under, the city or planning, not planning commission, but various ordinances that you, I don't know if there's any violations that you need to look at.
There are no violations.
Okay, then you need to talk to them. Okay, we'll open this up for a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Carl?
I'd like to make one comment on that and reading this and I know where you're coming from.
Right.
I believe this all started because you jumped the gun and you were doing everything before you had a permit
That's true.
and there was no fence around it. It was all garbage there. There was, or it looked like it anyways from the road. And I think that's where this all started from.
I think that left a bad taste in our
Yeah.
thinking.
Because it's
Well,
completely,
that's been solved. And
Yeah.
also, if you look at it, I removed a huge fire hazard. That long and it caught on fire, you have bushes that are 10 feet tall, and
Oh, yeah. All
if
this
that would have caught
stuff.
fire, it would have taken out the whole city lawn.
Well, I thank you for your moment. Don't give up, just go to that, direct you for that area. And,
I would like to bring one more thing up if I can, just give me just a little bit of leeway here.
okay,
Okay, I know that you can't do anything about it, I don't wanna make you aware of it. I did get here from a guy named Harvey.
Henry.
yes, Henry is our, planning,
He gave me a whole list of things that I needed to do that have absolutely nothing to do with this law.
Now it's Larry with-
Building plans and elevations, I'm not building anything. You want
Henry,
existing conditions site within 300 feet, but not building anything, we're not changing anything. We need that. Not putting in any utility, no electric, no water, no sewer, we're making no taps whatsoever, everything is self-contained. Okay? Uh, Makes no sense, these things I'm getting make no sense.
I work with Henry a lot. I would call Henry's main
yes, Henry,
office.
he has.
Okay, and he hasn't done anything. Have you talked to, Angela at Building Codes, Building Inspections in Eugene? They're the ones that actually handle the Building Codes Department. It's who our building inspector comes from, Northwest Code Inspections. They can help you.
I'm going to, thank you for your information. I'm going to direct this information to our city manager.
I mean, whatever you guys want, I.
We're just trying to get the whole thing down on.
Yeah.
But Krista is our, city manager. Have you met Krista?
I want to be a part of this community, is what I'm telling you.
Well, we want you to be too. We just want to
I
give
can
you.
solve a lot of your problems, especially with all of the crap you've got parked everywhere.
We're gonna try it. We're gonna-
I'm the guy that can help you solve that.
Yes.
I just want to assure you guys, we are working with Bill. Henry has issued a letter of incompleteness. So that there are things that still need to be fulfilled. And so we are working on that already, so.
Point I'm trying to make is in that letter of incompleteness, everything, it doesn't apply, none of it applies. It's already completed.
But
Everything you have is everything you need.
all our policy is that when you satisfy what Henry has put forth, then it comes to the commission. They cannot issue you a CUP here in public comment.
How do I comply with something that doesn't apply to my property?
Well, we can have a side conversation, but they can't, you're not ready to have that come before the commission.
I believe, 3, 4, maybe even 5 months ago. Our old planning director, Robert Ward, who sits on council, said, even if an application is marked incomplete and the property people say it's complete, we have to accept it.
Comment taken. Let's go
For
through.
me, how can I
I
help you?
think
get
you
this
need,
done?
you could do, talk with Henry. Would that be his best bet?
Okay.
Henry,
Then
he is the gentleman, he's
I'll reach
our,
out to Henry again.
yes,
I'll do the best I
explain to
can. do
him
what I
in a
can.
very logical point,
Okay.
what your situation is. He's the earth mover, he can move, he knows where all the angles are.
I'll tell you, the only mistake I made was listening to a landlord who didn't let me know one little thing. And I put a gate wrong place. Everybody heard about that gate, right? They went on to 8th Street. Put the gate where the old gate used to be, and then in 20 years that nobody's been on that property doing anything, they changed the rule. The minute I found out about it, I ripped that gate, great cost, I ripped that gate out and rebuilt my entire fence. And there's a gate in another spot. to make it reach the top. But I'm willing to take whatever step necessary. I've got $20,000 in this. And it's just a storage. So,
So my area then is suggesting is contact Henry.
Okay.
And we'll give you all the information and then we can address it as we're directed
if
to.
I get the information, Harry, you gonna help me get this done?
We're gonna do our bestest on this follow.
That's all I want.
All we do is we follow, if we follow
Do
the
your
law,
best
the
for me.
rules,
I will do
ordinance,
my best for you. Is that a deal?
that's all we can do, right?
Deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, no problem. I hope I don't sound excited, but it seems like I've been dealing with this. for a
I know,
while.
I
do
feel
apologize if
your
I seem
pain,
a
I've
little-
been there, and I
seem a
understand.
little like her here.
But at least we're here to be helpful.
Yeah.
Whereas your other commission area that is
I
constructive.
know you're in a position to help me, I'm in a position to help you, and I figure together we can get this out.
Okay.
I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank
very
you.
Thank you.
That's all. For a
Okay.
comment.
Really nice, the leeway that you gave for the 3 minutes of discussion to the resolution to the problem. That was pretty.
You were so
see
funny. We have a whole section for you though.
Oh, yeah, for me, I have to wait his life.
Anyway, we're gonna go on with our meeting. Yes. We have a discussion, we're looking at 8. Sorry. Yes. Thank you. Having fun. As far as our next step on number 8, Krista, if I'm going past faster, please let me know. But I'm guided at this as our discussion, and I'm told that the next sections here are items to have at another meeting. Can we interpret some of those areas why that would be? Or are we just going to just push it through? But I mean, are we gonna plan these to be like in our October meeting or November meeting?
So the floodplain, you have to have implemented by the end of the year.
Yes. Please, can you tell us that real quick, because that was the information I got in the
Yeah.
packet as well.
Yeah, so
You guys have that information brought to you? Okay, so we know how important it is.
So under number 4, Henry discusses the FEMA requirements to remain in the insurance program. You have option 1, 2, and 3. Option 1 is the most restrictive. Option 3 would be how you want to see it. Option 2 is in between the very restrictive and having to redo your entire code.
Well, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So that would be something that for you, this is for you to gather information.
It was in our packet.
Um,
I have a question about it, Mr. Chair. Option 3, it says adopt a new model code. Well, before we can adopt a new model code, we have to make a new comp plan. Because we go by our comprehensive plan, not by our model code. So we can't do anything with the model code until we do an updated version of our comprehensive plan. So that knocks out 3 right off the bat. We're left with 2 options, 1 or 2.
When you're talking about qualifications of offsets and such. Is that what you're talking
no,
about?
no,
No, for the FEMA.
for the
For the
fee,
FEMA.
It's looking at.
Probably not, our packets were not,
Sorry. Oh, I see.
It was in, the original packet, and it was under the Henry's report.
Okay, I got it.
topic 4, FEMA pre-implementation compliance measures.
so we have a new person, by the way. Her name is Amanda. She's a temp from Atlas, and this is her first time putting together a packet, so please be a little gentle on the packet situation.
It wasn't that bad.
I'm-
I've seen worse when I was on council, so.
So apologies if it's not in there. Also, just really quick, Shirley on Zoom wanted to have her comment as a matter of record, if you prefer that, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, I was pointing in the right direction.
Yes.
Just that there's no second page.
Her comment is that there's no second page on the packet for the agenda
Online.
online.
Okay, but then we made it on the other side.
The original packet.
The original packet doesn't have a second page,
One of them online,
and that is Shirley's comment.
Okay,
not the revised one, but the original.
But as far as Henry, this would be something that, if you want to get some more information, read about it, see what you think, how it fits into your guys' plan, have a work session maybe where you can have some fluid conversation. And I think it would be better to have Henry with us to have that
I would like that
conversation.
very much. All of us commissioners like that idea.
Sure.
We can arrange that in time.
Okay.
We're all available. When can we make an appointment? See what schedule we can fit him on.
Let me get with him. He wasn't going to be available today. That's why he tried to give you a very good background of what's been going on, but
Maybe we'll have to do a second. Maybe if there's no one else.
I would like to do that. You're very up to me. In fact, that was my suggestion. You read my plan.
I'm just thinking, we only have to the end of the year, we probably want to step
We
on that.
need to work on it.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
okay, I will see what we can do about that.
Because the consequences are, if we do keep it flat, then the insurance people will make it very difficult for anybody.
Yes.
And they're looking, insurance companies are by law have to do it. And they're looking for ways where they don't have to do it. So if we can still prove by following the information, given it, we're in.
We don't want any.
No penalty.
Well, I don't think this is new news. I think it's been around for a little bit. It's just that we haven't gotten to it. And so we need to make it a priority.
I like to like how we triage our issue. Meaning what's good, what's bad, and what's not.
This is definitely one that you should put at the top of your list.
Okay.
Has everyone read their packet for the FEMA stuff? And then
I skimmed over it. I didn't have time.
I just been doing it, I'm pretty good at knowing what they want.
Yeah, I read it and I came up with my consensus of option 2, because in option 3, you can't even ascertain, you can't even.
Right, no, I did get that part. I
You
know.
can't even do that. In option 1, I mean, we have a lot of recreational area that is in the floodplain. And so number 2 option, doing it on a case-by-case basis seems more appropriate than outline it all together, because then people with no code enforcement are still gonna put underground utilities. Maybe throw in some, water. I'm not sure about the sewer lines, but I know the water lines are pressurized, so they're down there already.
Well, we'll look at
Yeah,
And then also, just really quick, Henry said that this was gonna go probably to the Supreme Court, so there's gonna be,
This is a
because
being sued by a bunch of people or something.
because what they're asking for is like, basically, they want you to go to net zero. It will go to the Supreme Court, so expect some action there at some point,
So,
yeah.
Okay, well, then we can actually put our vote in, basically the way we accept it, and see if that apply it. In other words, our consensus would be maybe 2 versus 3 or 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to vote on that? Or,
I would like to have a vote on that, so that we can move this.
yeah,
I'm of the consensus of that.
do,
Do you want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to adopt the FEMA pre-implementation compliant measure. Option number 2, to review floodplain permits on a case-by-case basis and require a professional study to be prepared and submitted document, no net loss or threatened and endangered species or habitat.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
oh, we voted
We
Yeah.
voted.
without discussion. Okay,
It sounds like we had the discussion going on.
okay, okay.
Who seconded it?
Sarah,
No, if you was asking me second.
Oh, I seconded it.
Yeah.
He made the
Yeah.
motion. It was.
Sarah seconded.
Okay.
Okay, so we're looking at our following issues here. If we're gonna go down this list, and discuss it, we can discuss it there, but the planner's report is, where does this fall into our information?
topic 6. Sorry,
Topic 5.
5. And this was, wait. No,
I'm a little bit puzzled, Jeremy.
I am too.
As such,
I go from 4 to 6. And
Yeah,
I have like the last paragraph of 5.
where are you going? So you're at?
I don't believe that Airbnb is in this for report.
I had a section on Airbnb for a specific case of a certain address on 12th Street in mine.
yeah. Because it's an RR,
Yeah.
residential,
But
and single family, no, not res, RR, it's in single family, yeah.
a request for code interpretation.
2023 was the code interpretation of it, and they just did it this year.
That's only information.
Okay.
Will that become more to us as we get into it? More clarity on it?
At the last meeting, you guys wanted to revisit the
Yeah.
topic, and so it was staying on for discussion until you tell me what you want to do with it.
Want to discuss Airbnb?
Well, at this moment, no.
Okay.
If there's someone who feels otherwise, I am very good at taking
It's
it.
gonna be a lengthy conversation. I think.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Except for the fact that the people that requested the
are not here.
thing are, they've had to wait another month,
Right.
you
Yep,
know?
and
But what information can we give them within that time to satisfy? So do they just write in a question in and then we are left to answer for
Oh,
them?
sorry, topic 2, it says short-term rentals.
Oh, short term. Well,
there's going to be short-term rentals. Well, in our code, it says no Airbnb in single family zone. And I think we need to get a hold on how many Airbnbs we really have in our town before we start going.
that are legal.
That are illegal. There's a ton of them are illegal.
I like to know the legal ones, So we go easy after the illegal.
It'd be easier to find the illegal ones than to know the legal.
Yeah, all you gotta do is do a quick search for a lakeside Airbnb.
Yeah,
My,
find the goodies so you know what the smell is.
my concern is that, 'cause I know you guys just recently wrote this, we have a very teeny tiny commercial district that, so restrict basically Airbnbs to only pretty much 8th Street here.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's even enough property or houses to have a section, you know what I mean? To me, it makes more sense because Lakeside has more residential recreational areas.
Have we had any time, and we're talking about this, interrupt me on this that we're not. And I'm sorry that I know we're into your part.
You're soon.
Oh, so,
I will get a pillow. But I'm just saying that our issues here is what do we want to get achieved? I know just in my area where I live, there are Airbnbs or people using them. Turn them in, if we had an information person come through here, asking us to put it out, and this lady, there, and we told them they had to go through the whole format. But so far, they've rented 3 different people. Without the.
I think the last time somebody, I don't know who brought it up, I think the thing was that there's already 25 or 26 Airbnbs in Lakeside.
17 that are registered in the city limits that are registered, but we have way more than 17.
Okay, so we need to figure out how we can discover who's legal and who's not, and go from there.
Quick internet search, Airbnb, bam,
And Craigslist.
Craigslist, yeah. There you go.
Well, I just wanted to say that, remember, we are struggling financially, and these should all have a transient tax.
Yes.
So that's gonna be the big thing too, is to make sure that somebody enforces it.
And and if they are legally registered, I believe through like Airbnb and VRBO and all that stuff, they pay the taxes when they pay their yearly dues. And,
And to us,
well, they're supposed to, they're not, I don't think they actually are, but I think that it was brought up to me that maybe everybody who has one should get like a regular commercial business license and things like that, as if it was ran like a business, because that's what it is.
Okay, so
I would like to know what the owners of the motels and hotels here think about Airbnbs.
they're not fair.
Huh?
They think they're not fair because they're not.
Well, they make money out of it.
Who says that? Are you just guessing on that? Or
No, I
has
just
somebody
remember
told you
this
that?
coming up before.
it's called self,
Huh?
it's called self.
I know,
Oh,
but have they told you that?
Again,
Is that a fact?
I'm not good.
Yes.
so let's look at this issue right here. What is the commission responsibility in this? How much of that information that we just received here just now? What is the planning commission's responsibility?
Can I interject there?
Yes.
Responsibility is we need to decide if we're going, if the thing is going to be no Airbnbs in residential area, or are we going to modify the code to say, yes, there is Airbnb?
And so what you did, Carl, you just told me what we can do and we can't.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't go in and force it. That's not our first.
That's not us, are they? That's.
We are here to work on the codes and ordinances, period. And then hand it over to the ones that we can't. That way it keeps our arguments and our ideas tight, so we know what we can do. And we can also pass it on to the city council and what they think. And we're also having our code enforcement people. That's what we have these people for. So let's don't put a lot on our more on shoulder, we can do it. Okay. Any other questions on that? So in other words, this Airbnb is a hot spot. That will require more than just discussion at this moment. Yeah. Now, should we discuss it after we talk with Henry?
Yes, I think so.
So you're getting a lot of inquiries and I don't know if you guys, I'm just gonna give you information. You
That's all we
can,
want to hear.
you can do what you want with it. The TGM program, a lot of cities have gone into this program. It's Transportation Growth Management. where they audit your code or they help you come up with plans where you have mixed use. They are trying to teach cities how to design in a way that is walkable for people so that they aren't, they're close to services you're using, maybe a CPA business run out of home in a residential area, or maybe you have a little coffee shop, little hubs of places, instead of being very traditional in this is your commercial district, that's all you can do there. And everything outside of your commercial district is all just for family living. They are trying to encourage mixed use type things. Now, that being said, there's other ways that we can go find out, how many Airbnbs there are. One of those ways is for me to talk to the council about having the Department of Revenue do our collecting, because by doing that, they get stuff like VRBO, because those kinds of places are not very good about paying taxes for whatever reason, but they also go out and scope out the people that are illegal and they force them into compliance. So that would get you it would take a little bit of time, but you would have better numbers than what you have about guessing who's registered, getting on and seeing, who's listed in Airbnb, who's maybe, whatever.
But on the other hand, this, whoever this is that force people in compliance, they can't force them in compliance if it's not legal to do it in a residential area.
Right,
Correct.
that brings us to the
So-
coding.
So you gotta come up with, are
Correct.
we allow it in residential or not? If we allow it in residential, then these people that are not compliant can be made compliant.
Correct.
And that's why I think we should do a separate
Mhm.
get together for just this and go over the code for it, and maybe make changes if we need to.
So this information that we're getting at this moment, is this a request that we're gonna make this next meeting? Or is this next meeting that we do have in between our next regular meeting?
It wasn't any question at the last.
Yeah.
It was.
But when can we do that? After we talk to Henry?
Yeah, let me get with Henry. If you want to put both of those items into one meeting, we can do that. Or you could review them as a case-by-case basis.
We have mixed use property here. We have residential recreation, which Airbnbs, RBOs, whatever you want to call
The
them.
request is for general single family.
Yeah, and we need to keep our family housing. And you have so much more open area. You have recreational area, general commercial, marine commercial, which
And I do believe that we have less general single family zoning area than we do residential
we
recreation.
have very little
Yeah.
single family.
In our little city of Lakeside of 2000, maybe, great about it. I've driven over the last few weeks, because I just like to go around and just look. It's very, very difficult to be able to satisfy some of the issues or some of the programs that you talk about by having weekends of people here and neighborhood over here.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Lakeside is built. But I'd still like to listen to them and see if there is something that they could say otherwise. I just felt that it's a great idea. I just don't know if we can have the structure or as a population to do that. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I just wanted to mention that we are a tourist town. That's what we do. And so we have to accommodate that reality. And our citizens don't pay city tax. So hopefully they have a little leeway on having the revenue generated from the Airbnbs or wherever they do.
But we
So-
do need to preserve our pure
Single family.
residential, single family
Yeah.
neighborhood.
People are very covetous of their space.
And I know it's an issue.
That's why you have some areas that are little, like where you live, for instance, Sean, in that zone.
There are none allowed in that neighborhood.
Right, so
Yeah.
there are these zones and they do well on. So again, it's gonna be a good exploratory type thing to look at, see what it is. Any information is great, is the timing that we have. I'm willing, and I know many of you would be willing, to go to anything that's been brought to us. Any meetings, any plate shop work, any places that we can make ourselves even more valuable to our citizens by having knowledge. And we can have knowledge that's gonna have to have structure, so when we make a decision, it has some meat to it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we're gonna,
Wait, talk to him.
We're gonna talk to Henry,
we're gonna
where he,
table it.
Chris is gonna talk to Henry to get an appointment, so we can have a meeting in between. Do we need to acknowledge, do we have to, post that we're having a, special meeting? Do we have to have it at a certain time, like 2 weeks?
Oh, no.
You know, we can do it sooner. We don't have to put the paperwork and post it.
7 days, yes, we do have to post it. We still have to post and do all those other things. We still have to do that. I think it's 7 or 14
Well, I'm
days.
just looking at, who all, places you have to post it.
3.
And then if you give it to Sarah, Sarah can post on. the
It's
social
actually
media.
4.
Huh?
Okay, 4 places, yeah.
Because it's what the world.
Used to be 3.
Post office.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
post
no, not
office,
the
the
world.
caves, and the newspaper.
That's just
the
for
world.
land use.
Okay, so. Is that, you wish to take that on?
Well, it's the same thing. When we have the FEMA meeting, it's just a public notice, just like
Okay.
here. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I think we still want to get some,
Feedback.
feedback.
Especially with this new thing coming up because of the new laws.
Yeah.
I am very impressed how our commission is doing it. We're very much energized. Well, there is a positive thing going on. And I see paper spread out. The information on that's good.
And then we need to
So
figure
let's just,
areas.
let's stay focused on it. Okay, so we've worried about Tanya's report, and acknowledge that. I'm just going through this steps right here on our.
Okay, well,
We're on 6C.
8C
On the news.
Oh,
on your new agenda.
here you go.
Qualifications?
Sorry. Yeah. 8C.
Okay. Would you like to,
So the reason that this came up was because if somebody does put in an application, there was the question, if somebody has a code violation, are they eligible to apply and be on the commission?
I guess there is parts that can, and it depends on from what I understood, it depends on what violation is made. Yes, there is a fine line of that. I guess that's what I heard. If it wasn't opposing something that was contrary to what the council or commission represented. But yes, there should be.
This is
Does that make any sense?
Put it on the agenda for another meeting.
Yeah,
Wait, what?
But I don't think it needs another meeting, really, right?
No.
I think it's something that we can just figure out right now. And then you.
If we're gonna go ahead and say that anybody who wants to run, just like if you can't do that because you're a felon, you have that kind of law or procedure or qualification.
Well, I think we've had issues with this before, of people,
That before during our other code.
yeah, where they don't think it's fair if somebody is violating this and that they should be allowed to run it.
Yeah.
But I don't see it, when I read this last night, because I was reading myself, that there was anything that was heavy, like illegal activity, I think, or like safety and health and things.
So what is what's the solution? What is, we have this issue, how do we resolve it? What word or two we can resolve it so that we can have it?
So you, as a commission, review each person who applies and decide.
We do,
We do.
we're trying to see, those who do come in, that we look at them fairly, so we have the basis on doing it. We don't want to have somebody come in and work through all the diligence and then find out there's something that they did that we can't, we lose it.
Yeah, it's like
I try to get, I mean, obviously, people that made a mistake on one should be forgiven compared to someone who has a rampant problem with, not following the rules.
Does you state that in the packet? So it doesn't that come up when you have new applicants?
Kinda, but not really.
It's good.
How, it's, in the past, you've had managers, they're like, oh, well, at least one person applied. Who cares, but, you know, they applied kind of situation. I believe is part of the problem.
They might have a mission statement,
Just one person.
rule of charter
It's on
Charter
page
rules, we
6
might
under
get-
administration.
might be there. But we don't,
Um,
and if we did have charter, we'd have three like the city does right now. Which one do you want to go on?
The easy one that makes sense, that the general person can read, that the person comes off the street can understand.
Yeah, that's.
You know, the more we make complication, it all, we get all of our other people here to come in and do things. It's very simple.
So just reading it so far. Um. There is violations of any provision of the actual chapter, so that doesn't really. No two people may have the same occupation.
Yeah. But those are all the things that are qualifying for something.
Yeah, and that's all we have, really.
Yeah.
And term limits and, I think it comes up as more of a moral issue and an ethical issue
That's my thinking.
over a written rule book and ordinance. type
So
of
who
thing.
determines that?
You know,
Who determines that? How do we, kind of get them, well, we can't do you because, or have you because your ethics, but those are the kind of things that
Yeah.
we need to have someone in front of us to clean it. As far as, you know, you have any unethical things that's gonna keep you from being worked on here.
Well, and I know the applications come in, because I filled out the application. They don't ask you, hey, do you have a conditional use permit? Do you have any? There's not even anything really about criminal background. You just fill out your information where you live and you turn it in.
So how do we interpret this, Krista?
Well, not particularly background, even when somebody runs for office.
So that's what-
We don't do backgrounds, nobody does a background, but if like you were to have a DUI and then everybody found out somehow, then it would be brought up that way and you would be removed or, you know, some other thing that came to
Lot
you.
of work, a lot of pay. I mean, I wish we could find it in the front. I wish there would be, you know, a free,
When, and Lakeside wasn't so small, you wouldn't know that somebody's in violation of anything anyways, unless you're like, yeah, I know that person, because we're like 1,000 people here, you know.
well, I know we have a certain person who wanted to apply, and I won't name that person. And because of issues that were current, there was question.
Well,
So,
it could also be considered using the position to avoid having those having those not
Code violations.
code violations come before you because now you're a commissioner. And so it could be,
Like you'd be held to a higher
So
standard.
wouldn't it be, aren't we should be thankful that the commissioners at this point are not naive, that we've been around the block, that experience from that, and give us that kind of wisdom without having to have something firmly on it. We know you did this. We know that we don't even want to listen.
Well, ultimately though, we make a recommendation based off the applications we're given, and then that goes to council. And so ultimately, council who's in charge of code enforcement, that way I can say, no, we don't want that candidate because of blah, 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 blah.
Right, if we actually did what we did, and we're having a hard time getting some of them already, we'd never have anybody in. If we were looking for something ethical or something that's going on, half the people would already be gone. I mean, we can't be that picky, you know? You dropped you littered, that kind of thing.
That's fine.
So to be more honest, yes.
But no, I'm just kind of thinking unless it's something like, you know, they're drugs and selling it at their house and everybody knows about it. I don't think something personal about their personal property should even be listed whether or not they can serve it or not.
So what is your situation on? I'm gonna leave it as that, because I know that we have to keep it simple.
Don't you keep files on anybody who is in violation or has done anything?
Theoretically.
Okay, so theoretically, if somebody applies, then you should get a copy of any file on them out of them. So you
I don't think that's necessary
make a
though.
decision, because you guys are making the decision on it.
See, I'm currently running for office and nobody wants to approach me and ask me what my personal background is and if my business has any dings or if I personally have had any.
I need a slide.
Here, would you like a hair?
No,
So, and I think the planning commission should be ran no differently than any other election office, really, because it's still a government entity way.
So what is exactly we want to see this? The reason why we're looking at it already, qualifications of office. What do we want to see?
So maybe they can do the job. That's a good
And
qualification.
what don't we want to see?
I don't want to see someone sitting up here with a bunch of code violations or conditional use permit violation sitting up here because then, oh, I can sidescape the problem or the issues because I'm on planning. That doesn't work no more.
Well, and I can see what David's saying too, but,
I agree. I mean, I'm totally a fan of that.
I mean, how are you to get no unless our city manager is like, okay, we had an applicant, let's go pull their permanent record with the city and all their property records and present it to you with their.
Well, we do have records of their CUPs and if they're in violation, because Rob gave us a book back from 1979 to present with all the code violations in it. Nice big thick binder.
Says-
Where is that?
wait,
So,
we have records that aren't here about people's code violations?
Yeah,
oh yeah, your L drive is,
yeah, you didn't know that?
your whole L drive system is messed up from, I've been here 10 years
Yeah.
almost. And it's been really messed up forever. I have paperwork on my property that you don't even have in your L drive.
Okay, so we'll look at that and we'll figure it out. Don't fret on that.
Oh, boy,
That's
oh,
something there, we gotta look forward to this. Nothing that we have now and done is gonna make any
Different.
difference from what we need to get done ahead.
Yeah.
If we have so much stuff that we've got to get done, then let's clean up the back. But we need to look forward and stay focused ahead. So that all these issues that are being headed right now have the greatest impact. In our memory.
I do believe we should use our form that we have been using forever for our planning commission, not just a letter of intent.
Yeah.
Is that for the,
Planning or city council, it's qualifications, the residency requirements that the person must be a resident of Lakeside. Now it's changed. The residency within Coos County is insufficient.
well, you know good and well, it's not gonna be. Coos County.
Well,
I
and
know it.
that's what I.
This is the new one. This is the new one.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about
Yeah.
before the meeting.
If there is
It's
an
old
existing
copy.
application form for becoming a member of a commission or committee, in the past, completing this form was deemed sufficient for application. We have used this application for 7, 8 years now.
Well, I started with that.
So we've always used it, so there is no requirement to use this form. So there is no reason not to use a letter of interest and a resume. I'd rather use our form because it breaks it down better. Your resume, just because you build houses, doesn't mean squat when you're looking at that other form.
Have you seen this form? This take-
What is that?
Yeah,
Could Krista see that, David?
That was in our packet today.
yeah, that's.
That was in our packet. Of the
Always.
116 pages.
I believe it was, yeah, the new one.
Really, before I memorize the first thing.
Oh,
Get on it. Start on it.
you're saying this is an application?
No,
No,
I'm
that's-
saying what you put here,
Oh,
what you put here, saying just that using a letter of an intent and a resume is not sufficient. We need to keep using the form that we've always used for the past 7 to 10.
The actual
15.
application versus a form of intent.
Yeah.
Right, right. So let's, that, again, that was the last thing that was used that I had available. I will correct that. As many people have pointed out, right now, like the application that came before you, it was on a city application. Anytime somebody wants to apply for something, they come with an application. It's the qualifications. Here's the other thing too, is that if somebody has an application, I could bring it to you. I could also say, here's other information we have. You can make the determination. You could add also, do you knowingly have any code violations? Because there's a difference between somebody knowing that they have one and not knowing they have one. You guys are all very versed in the code. And somebody new may not know that they have a code, and that shouldn't bar them from serving.
Right.
But that they could be dedicated to work on it or something like that. And you can make that determination
Yes.
on a case by case basis
Love it.
and still recommend them to be
Yeah, case by
appointed.
case, and then-
And so we could just add, hey, do you knowingly have,
And remember, the commissioners, people that told me this procedure that we bring and get people in is not, it's quite different. Normally just the council takes care of it. So it's been over the years that I've been here, that we would have them bring in here, we would go ahead and interview them so that we can present them ready for the council to
Yes.
approve them. So that is our purpose. We can invite them in, but prior, the finality is the council, and then you have to be sworn in to the council.
I like.
so do we agree that we could recommend putting on the application, do you knowingly have a violation?
I think this would help avoid it. It would just be so much. I would think that whoever would do it would have enough moral character to not do it, so that it would take and cause it I mean, they might be the fourth person and they're left and verse. I mean, it throws us into.
And it should be case by case with everybody.
Okay, so can we skip to, I have a question if we can do this. I would like to go to, for our gentleman
Yes.
first, skip the, go from 10, change 10 to reverse it.
We've already started the meeting. Yeah,
It was approved by the commission.
you had.
I want you to ask me now. Try it.
Recommendation.
I am your advocate.
Yeah.
It could be approved.
Learning, you're learning all of this fun stuff.
But
You're so excited to be here.
I can expedite these things for you if you would like.
Let's do that. That is training, planners report. Yeah, let's try that.
So Henry says that you had asked about training. I think I had sent an email about training. So there's some various ways that you can do training, but also our attorney Gary does training. And so he can put together something. So maybe for the new commission, after everybody gets appointed again, have a training session where he comes and does the whole spiel. I can ask about that, but that's why Henry wanted you to know that that was available.
I like we should desire and hunger for anything that's gonna make us better.
Did you see the check?
Yep, that's why you can get grants,
Okay, how much are they?
$430 for the one,
One of is one
and
of
it's a weekend
the.
per person, $430. We can either get grants or, comes out of the city budget, which,
But I don't want to take any more.
yeah, I'm not taking 400.
No, I have no problem. I will. I can do all of it if we wanted to, but I mean, I think we should go.
I think we should look at
What would it take? I don't think there's no funds actually done for, is there?
Training.
I do believe there is.
I think for council only though, I don't think it involves planning.
Oh,
I think we have a budget for council's mandatory League of Oregon City training stuff. I don't think we have a planning commission. As far as I know, I don't think planning
It's-
commission's ever really done.
Could they have been,
it's that-
forthright?
has
Not
It
forthright,
doesn't,
but
it doesn't designate who
Oh, it
we get the
doesn't?
training from. It just says training.
Just city training.
or four.
So whatever,
It's also worthwhile checking on scholarship.
Yeah,
Yes, I've seen several of our, even our, past, mayor. And did Jackie go? You
She
know?
went to all the LOC meetings that she was, went to, and she went free because of the grants.
Okay,
I went
so
about
whatever it's gonna take to do it, I
You,
think it's vital.
if you give me feedback on what kind of training you're looking for, so Gary does like land use specific training. And
See, that for us, that is in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Now, as far as other items, maybe so far out that it's never gonna be used, that we're gonna use. But yeah, things that are pertinent to what our ordinance. code.
And then also after elections, LOC starts their free training on public meetings, laws and things like that. So, and you can go watch those right now, but if you want an in-person, you can sign up for those. You can get scholarships. There's lots of other LOC type
Well, I do
trainings.
know that the state of Oregon is hungry for those, and they have money. They want our cities to be involved.
Right.
And have this kind, because they need other ones to rely on. It's cheap insurance for, cheap money to get for big results.
So I can just follow up with you about training. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't they have, just Lake Oregon cities also have the opportunity to bring somebody here, to train? So that you don't have to do it.
We've had, I don't know what her name was, Hi.
Yeah, we've had her a couple of times.
Yeah, and also on Zoom.
Yeah, there are ways, and that's.
But
not
yeah, you're
fair.
absolutely right. I think it's good for anybody. I mean, if you become the mayor again. Again, of course. Like, however, whatever we serve, however.
And
So nice.
And number 10,
Good.
Henry had asked me to bring this to you. I understand tonight you don't do anything with money, so we can just move on to the interpretation if you want to not entertain any of that.
Okay, here we go. Interpretation.
Ready?
Oh, good.
Don't think it's yet.
So we're discussing an interpretation that's needed on shipping containers.
Story.
We call them shipping,
I
you call them storage,
On
I
that,
call them, yeah. But,
It's a big difference.
yeah. Okay, well, let's just hope that the difference that you desire will be helpful for you as opposed. Can I make, can I get a little background real quick for him?
Let's see, I think it's in here.
But from him,
Oh,
give me 3 or 4 minutes of your time
Refresh.
on refreshes for your, how big is your container you want to put down?
It's below code. I mean, it's a 20 by 8.
Okay,
So it doesn't even
That's
need to have a
fine, too.
permit or
You could-
anything.
you could, I mean, we're following that in already. Do you plan on putting power on it?
No,
Is it gonna be a storage to put your junk in,
yes. No,
Your
no,
junk.
I'm going to put my
lawnmower?
We don't have junk.
my little car in there.
Not your junk cars. Yeah. I see. Yeah, let's look at the interpretation, because I have several things on that.
I'd like to have, could you tell me what the difference between a shipping and a storage container is?
Yeah, shipping containers is used in larger seaway waterways to move things around. Storage container like U-Haul just are specific just to put things there that are gonna be permanently in that place.
So you have requests
That's what I
for,
do.
so your request is for a
Storage that I'm gonna put my antique car
storage
in.
container, not a ship,
It's a storage container which
metal made out of.
I want to put a car in it.
Is it a metal container just
Yeah, it's
made
like
out?
storage.
Yeah,
Just
because
like a down?
they're airtight and they're watertight.
do you have
So-
a picture?
Huh?
Would you happen to have a picture on your phone
I
Or-
do,
of the container that you want to purchase?
I do. And I can have it, I can have one of your commissioners speak on it because one of your commissioners has one in the backyard. So,
A councilman or a commissioner?
Commissioner.
Oh, that's you.
so. And I do have. a
We were talking about that.
I hate my phone.
We were just. talking
Also,
about stuff like
there's one out on the airport,
There's five of them.
it's out the airport, the flying club has one out there.
Okay, so first of all, thank you. That's enough. We're going to just, you gonna help the interpretation? Krista, let's just look at it.
So what Henry gave us was the interpretation, topic number 3. Interpretation on shipping containers as permissible accessory structures. Staff have received several inquiries into the use of shipping containers as accessory structures on properties in Lakeside. The zoning ordinance, also referred to as Lakeside MC Section 155, per ordinance 22-306, allows accessory structures to the extent necessary and normal in a residential neighborhood. See citation below. Accessory buildings and uses to the extent necessary and normal in a residential neighborhood. Accessory buildings are not permitted in the front yard. It is staff's opinion that a shipping container for the use of accessory structure in Lakeside is not normal accessory structure, and therefore should not be permitted as an accessory structure. A shed or detached garage is a normal accessory structure in a residential area in Lakeside, not a shipping container. Planning Commission should discuss and interpret, is a shipping container permissible accessory structure to be sited on properties in Lakeside?
Okay. So we're talking a shipping container, which I know exactly what it is. You can go down to some of these places down by the port, and you can buy those 20 by 40. And then there's other ones that I've seen many, many times, especially when people are moving, those pod units that are dropped off, and you put your stuff in and they pick it up and they ship it all over the country. Those are totally different. Those are, he falls into a shed, much like if you go down the street down here in some towns and you see these buildings made that they pick up, porta buildings, and you drop an instant barn or little, those little 20 by 10 unit or less. I built mine. I got you don't need a permit in a 10 by 20.
Nope.
If it's 8 by 20, 8 by 20,
Yeah.
Gotta be under
yes,
240.
it's- It's 8 by 8 by 8, I mean, sorry, it's 20 by 8 by 8.
okay, the height. So is this, do you have neighbors?
And they're really good with it, they're okay with it, and it's not gonna be seen from any of the back sides or either side. It may be seen if somebody stick their head over my fence and looks at it. But the neighbors are good with it, already got
I
permission
don't
from them.
see, because I want to do that. So if I can do it, you can do it. I want to do it. So I do not, and I mean, I guess, I don't know if that's conflict of interest, but you need to say that. That's a good building, especially around here.
It is a great building,
And,
Site, since I have one.
and you have one.
I do,
And
so
it's a great building,
what's
isn't
the
it?
size of it? Is it proper?
it's 20 by 8, it's the same size.
Oh,
I did not need a building permit because it was considered mobile.
Yes.
And as long as it was behind where nobody could see it, behind my privacy fence, it was allowed. Only thing I had to get a permit because I electrified it.
right, you're not electrified.
I was also told at the time by the city manager at that time, which I believe was Lori, you can't live in it. And you can't allow other people to live in it, and you can't put like a kitchen or sewer in it. And she told me it
It's
was
a perfect building to do that.
I know, and you're not allowed to stack them because those all require permits, so you need a
So
sewer. permit,
foundation,
power permit.
are you just gonna put it on the ground?
Yeah, I
It has
have.
kids built,
The only thing that bothered me was that because it's made out of metal, that it would rust with all the water that we get
so
here.
you just lift it up.
So I just
you have proper
put
drainage.
4x4 underneath and I put
And that's how
rock.
mine is.
I put drainage on
Would
it.
it be
put
better to
rock,
put it
and then
on
I put
block?
4x4s on it where it's like, it's gonna sit on it.
If he puts it on block, it's then considered a
So it's
foundation.
gonna run.
Is it
Why are you not
already in
connecting the
place?
foundation?
No, so how I did mine is I was told at that time by the city planner and the building code department and all that stuff, and I did mine, is if I put it on pieces of wood, like a runner down the sides, that wasn't considered a permanent foundation. If I put it on blocks, they would consider it a permanent foundation, much like a manufactured home.
No, I'm
Back.
4x4.
I don't
Yeah.
want interpretation because you can put it on blocks and support it.
That-
You're not
that's
connected,
how-
you're not making any
That's
connection.
how building code sees it, because my she shed, my office is one of those pre-built sheds and it's on blocks. They consider that a foundation.
All right, so you know that you're not gonna use blocks then. You're gonna put it on
I'm
some,
gonna put it on.
put it on some,
Already, yeah,
pressure treated.
yes,
Pressure
because I don't
treated.
want them to rot either.
No, I put it on a gravel, put a
I
gravel
did
base.
that already.
See,
He's
I mean, he's. Can you
I
do
don't
mine
even
too?
I don't even think you need a permit.
I know, I don't need a permit.
He doesn't need a permit because
But
it's
the
under the
question
minimum
was
square footage.
something weird
I'm
about,
glad that you came in and asked us so that we could properly look at it from a very logical view. I don't see any issue with it at all.
No.
And if we did, then we have a lot of problems with a lot of people.
Yeah,
And that is not the kind of shed that is there. Or again, it's not a homeless shelter. You're not putting, you're using just as what you're saying.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna put an antique car in there, so I want my antique car to be protected. and
I-
much-
I
It's
totally
worth a
agree.
lot of money.
I think staff's interpretation and our, saying it's, not, an accessory building. Have you seen what they can do with,
storage
storage
containers.
containers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So I think our interpretation of not having them as an accessory building.
It's quite outdated.
It's outdated already because you can do way too much with.
Plenty of those.
I've seen these
I
things
wanted to put-
on Facebook, I mean, they,
Yeah,
they got
Facebook.
you know, 3 stories total,
Two,
big.
Well,
And
we have what the blue box in Winchester Bay, that's an
Yeah.
operational restaurant
yeah,
out
they
of
have
such a big
stage
container,
and
so.
everything.
let's not wander off, folks. Let's stay
So-
focused.
So you have to provide stage, okay?
And in
Well,
the
good.
summer, we want live music.
One more
next
time.
summer, live
In the
music.
summer, we want live music and barbecue.
Shit, yes.
I'll see you later,
I was
Leo.
gonna do that for my neighborhood, because by now I've met all my neighbors. And I was just wanna make sure that we all pull together to do like a watch.
I am very sorry that you had to go through 2 times. This is the third time I've seen you at either the city council or twice here. And to find out that is something that we could have achieved, but we just been bunched up,
Thank you so much for your
Okay.
consideration,
okay?
but I love all you guys, sometimes. Oh,
Sometimes, Leo.
No,
So-
okay, I just wanted to say that with the amount of theft we have in our city, that this is a very secure container.
it
And
is.
this is one we're probably gonna see more people wanting to do, especially. in this issue.
Whoever would do that, whether it be you or someone, there is that criteria, standards, not in the front, not blocking anything, not becoming a fire hazard, not becoming, you blah, 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 and you checked all the boxes.
They're done.
So you're fine.
And they're done. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank
for
you, Leo.
asking us.
Oh, hey, thank you, Sam.
I have a question.
Okay.
So the interpretation is a now legal opinion.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think it should be.
I
So,
would like to, yeah, go ahead.
so is that something that you come up with, or is that right? They come to you for the legal opinion?
I think it would be, I think it would be,
I think it'd just be amendment to the ordinance.
Yeah,
yeah, and we can interpret that it's not a shipping container.
Well, even,
or a house versus.
Because it's, guys, again, we've been really, all these buildings, outbuildings and all of that. When I did my building, I did my due diligence, and believe me, I went through Rob, and you know how Rob is on every single dot I and all that. No problem.
And see, Rob is one of the people that approved mine, 4 years ago when I
Yeah.
brought it in.
So I mean, but yes, so when we go through this, and we have it, is there a article number or a part of the
The code?
code?
Yeah, it's MC 155 per ordinance 22-306.
32-.
306.
Oh, good. So do we need to interpret, define?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we need to go through, what is it gonna take to do that?
My question is it even mentioned in there?
No,
I mean, is it just the fact that whoever's writing this is saying that, no, shipping containers, in my opinion, aren't accessory items?
Yeah, their interpretation of it.
Yeah, is there an interpretation?
interpretation.
I don't think, I don't think it's listed in there saying shipping containers are not an accessory item.
I'm gonna wonder what's written.
It's not in the ordinance as it sits now.
I don't think the
It's
ordinance.
not there
I
now.
went, this is what I went through all those years ago, because we didn't have anything in the books that said I couldn't. So they said, look, we interpret it as a storage shed, it falls under this set of rules, but if you plan on living in it, it has to be these set of
That
rules.
makes sense, that makes sense.
Because there was no code.
So
in
the
book for it.
interpretation would be the main thing.
Right.
Because
Let's do
when
it
you
that
build it, when you build a shipping container to a house, they have specific regulations. You
Yeah.
have to have tie downs. It has to be on a concrete pad. You have to do
It
so
follows
many
building
things.
codes,
It follows, it
Yeah.
follows the building
Yeah.
code.
Whereas a storage shed just follows.
He's not building, he's just
requirements.
hauling,
Yeah.
he's just dropping it off.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good to know. My wife won't agree with it, but. that's
So-
fine.
If you do what I did, make it pretty. And make it not green with stickers all over it, you make it look nice, then she probably won't. take it.
paint it green.
Or just do it anyway.
Cause mine was lime green and I painted it a pretty neutral color. It was.
So how does that work?
Okay.
Do we ask somebody to write it legally? Do you guys do that, approve it? I mean, it has to,
City,
How does that
I
get
think-
into the regulation?
right,
don't
So
they
that we
direct
know
staff
that our
to write it?
interpretation was that.
I think we're
Correct.
gonna have to put some kind of amendment thing or something.
Can we make amendment for that to put in? Or do we just, do we have to write the whole amendment over? I mean, the whole ordinance over again?
so, okay, let me get with Gary and have it
Yeah.
rewritten and then approved at the next meeting,
Yeah.
okay.
I like that, I like that.
That sounds good.
Feel accomplished. I got some education.
Like.
Okay, so we're on to our, and this is something again. This is our procedure. This was a procedural thing. We've already went through this the last 2 months, it seems like. This is the information for finalizing, just to get the information out so that the city council can approve it and we can put it in our books. Where it says, in ordinance amending chapter 155 of the Lakeside Municipal Code, addressing mobile food units and transit business. We've all read this. Notice was given to the blah, 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 as well as paint posted on 4 locations of record in town. That was on August the 23rd, X amount of days. Will this be good and ready for the following October meeting with the council? Do we need to basically, we know we have A to open up here, open public hearings.
At what time?
7:23.
These are all just definitions.
So basically, are we open to a public hearing on this? I think we've already, do we still have to wait, have one of those
Just go through the motion so that,
on October 3rd?
nope, right now.
I think that's fine. That's exactly. Okay, so any public comments
I'm seeing.
No comment.
on this, on food court, food truck?
Yeah, I think they're very necessary because we lack in the restaurants in town.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, so, if that is, any other comments before I close the hearing?
There are none on Zoom.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Public.
Yeah, I was under the impression that this had to be posted for 20 days or something like that, and that our approval tonight was going to start the 20 days for public notice for the meeting in October.
No, we had this last time and we couldn't do it.
We
It's
did
up
it,
to now.
we did it last time when Rick was still here.
Yep.
It just was posted wrong
We just-
or administrative errors And so I believe it has to be done again.
Well, that's what I was getting at, is that it wasn't posted properly.
It wasn't posted, so we have to
And
do it
so it has to
all.
go
So,
for-
and this is already been done, and all it's gonna go through now is.
I am not seeing all of my
Go
paper.
back up again for public.
Public comment here.
Comment here.
Well, we're already doing that.
Can't do it tonight.
No, it's already tonight.
You have to have
It has
more.
been posted properly. The people didn't know that this was going to be talked about.
Yes, so it has to be
It
reposted
has to be
starting
posted.
tonight and then revisited again
That's
at the
fine.
October meeting. Because it wasn't posted. properly.
So we're in public hearing right now for public comment.
Yeah.
But so that's why we had the changes to the agenda. I could have spoke to it before we opened the hearing.
I said,
So I asked the mayor about this because
Yes.
there, the 20-day issue, it was posted at the end of July. It has been posted in the paper. It has, if you wanted to continue it for October, we would not have changed the agenda. We would have written how there was to make the motion to continue the public hearing on ordinance 2404 to Thursday, October 3rd at 6 p.m. in commission chambers at the October 3rd public hearing. This would serve as another notice, so you didn't have to publish for a third time.
Correct. And remember, we had public hearing. on
You
these.
did,
They weren't, they weren't,
They
but it
were
wasn't published.
it wasn't published and it was,
published, but people came in,
Right, because I
So they
attended the
did-
last two.
right?
Yeah.
So all of us said that this was gonna be fine. And the reason why we got in the information was the city council, brought up by, one of the
the old planning director.
was,
That
so
we
all they
didn't do it
need
right.
is that this is fine and that it's done.
So the DLCD needs the 20-day notice. The mayor felt at this point, they have had enough notice that they won't have an issue. And so his recommendation was to go do this. It is up to you what you would like to do, but we can,
I would like legal information on it from our legal instead of just the mayor. I'd rather hear from
I
an
don't think our
attorney.
legal is necessary again. I think this particular hearing, we've made several, we've put this out, it's been going on for 2 months.
Doesn't make any difference how long it's been going on, as long as it's gone on, as long as it's done by.
It's been going on
Right.
for 2 years for your mobile food unit.
Yes, and if it was.
So I think because
I-
all the accumulation of the information that we've had, and the public that we've had before, putting this on, I think we satisfied.
But what, my question is, was the information on this ordinance, 'cause I know I didn't receive the copy for tonight, was
Yep.
the actual ordinance made public? Because I couldn't find it on the city
And there is,
website for review.
so it was posted at the end of July publicly. And
But was it made available to the public?
yes,
Like, could they print out and download copies? And
I have an issue with this already. Any device, again, mobile food unit definition, any device, it's not a device. Oregon Health Authority, Department of Vehicle, two people we should listen to. Say it's a vehicle, not a device. We asked to take this out 2 months ago and it's still in there.
yeah, 'cause I think the thing was run under by. Push
I
the
thought it
first
said
versus
either
front
or,
versus-
we had it, either
Yeah,
or.
I think the wording was changed on that, if I remember it.
It just says still device. Look up the definition, any device. For health. I'm just going by Department of Motor Vehicle and the Health Authority.
So when you look at the interpretation of device versus withheld, are we getting to the point where what's
That's a
the
device.
deal?
This is a device.
Okay, does it have something to do with food? And then a lot of things can be devices.
It has nothing to do, so I can turn this into a mobile food unit.
Maybe you use that, you know,
Why are we trying to reinvent the wheel?
it's a very simple thing that would make it too
To help us, and why don't we follow the same
I think It
definition?
helps, people are able to do, make a big statement about it anyway.
Reinventing the wheel.
We're not doing very well, we're department at it.
Well- Okay,
Anyway, we can vote it, we can say, yeah, you know, I love this, this discussion. I know it's gonna be a little plain, but I think our issue is that we have here is redundant and redundant and redundant. It's been gone. It's been, to me, it's like a horse that's been just run down to the ground and have to get re-horseshoed again. And so it's already been doing it, it's already run over it.
But here's how I look at it, it doesn't matter how simple and like a basic thing this is that needs to be done. But I do agree that if it wasn't posted properly, it needs to be done regardless of what the.
May I, the mayor said, or the other council people, all we do, we present it back to the council. As it's here. We take this, let the council handle it.
that's awesome.
I was passing the buck, but that's the one where we said, that's who stopped the buck. That's the one who stopped it.
Just as I say, you know.
We voted. I know, that's what we voted for.
So what are we gonna do with this? We need a motion or something?
We need to close the public hearing that you opened.
Yes, so if there's no more public hearing, I move that we close any on agenda, all those who want to close the
7:31.
meeting. Do we actually need to have this as a vote?
If you would like to pass it to the council, you need a vote. If you would like to rework it, forget about it, you need a vote.
I vote that we. All those who want to pass it on to the AI. Is there a motion?
Not with the wording the way it is. Because I'm sure I could find other things that went wrong with this when we had the public discussion about amplified sound and everything else. I'm just getting back to packet.
All of us have been here, we've went through this already.
Mhm.
We've already discussed this. Why wasn't it discussed during the time?
It was.
We had one, but it wasn't changed.
It wasn't
Only
changed.
because The only thing that was changed, but the idea was the timing, the dates.
On the wording and the actual thing.
And the wording in the whole draft that we wrote back up,
The initial changes that were suggested to be made weren't made. So
Yep.
it's exactly the same draft as you looked at 2-3 months ago.
with
the
those
longer-
changes that we
And the changes
recommended.
were never actually
All I
made,
knew is that we changed either or.
and that wasn't.
So that was the only thing. Everybody else agreed with it. It was either or and it passed.
And the words were never changed.
But so the either or, that's the only thing that we need to do.
So I was not aware that anything needed to be changed. I was
Yeah, you just took one
told,
as
I just told to bring it back to you for public notice. So if that's something that needs to be changed, maybe somebody here would like to make those changes and then bring it back.
So it amends the ordinance.
No, they haven't passed it.
Yeah, we need to close the.
We did.
You need to close the
Yeah,
public
hearing
hearing.
is closed. Closed hearings.
Yep.
Right, now we did that. So we can actually discuss comments. Unless we're still gonna talk about ordinance 2404. Any more discussion about ordinance 2404?
I think we need to relook at this complete packet through what we went through 2 months ago and see what else is missing that we recommended
Does
that
it
we
have
didn't
something
put
to do with
in.
the ordinance of the food truck? I just want to keep it to the food truck.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
whatever. I want to go back and look at my old
But
paperwork.
we've already went through that.
I got this paper.
Changed.
I got
The
this
only thing we
paper.
did change, the only thing it was, we didn't worry about the either or. That's the only thing that we forgot to do, that we got to put on.
Dear
Either
Chair,
or.
point of order. I got this pamphlet tonight. No time limit. Couldn't come in Friday afternoon to get my packet. Came in Tuesday because Monday was a holiday. This was not in my packet. This is an add-on to my packet. I could have went and researched all the other stuff that we had for this and probably come back with a few more other things that were not put in there as we mentioned.
last,
So,
okay, forgive me, last month, we discussed this. We knew what we did and we knew what we didn't do right, was that the stuff got sent back by the city council, that we didn't do it in a right amount of time. And so we are actually doing the same thing, except gave it more time. Now, if the part is where the either or, I remember Sarah even mentioned that. That was the only thing that made this issue, and if we need to put that back on, then we need to make a motion to reword the ordinance to those two, so that situation, and be done with it. Now, does that require another 20 days because of that?
Yep, and another $250.
I think it's disturbing that we're taking this time and doing this kind of wording.
I
I
think,
totally disagree. I will tell you that. You three can do it or whatever. I totally disagree. I think it's a waste of our time. And on this particular issue is what it is. I think what we need to do is go and look at other things that are more pressing, more interesting. If the word "the" and the word "and" is different. Okay. I'm just confused as to why we are making this such a big issue. I'm in shock, actually. That's my opinion. Because all I knew, and I had the confidence in this commission, that we discussed it, we made some of the issues that the coming into our either or whatever it was, Dave wanted to make sure there was one and we compromised, and that was issue, period. Now we're starting to dig up all these other little things that we should do this, and we should get all that paperwork brought up. It's just a continuous madness. I feel like it's madness.
well,
Yeah,
may-
Krista?
So being that there was no motion, this is a dead ordinance.
Yes,
So there really isn't a point in
rat and raven.
digging through it, so.
Okay. Well,
Do we want us making a motion to send it to council? Or do you just want to leave it dead and we're going to hard work?
I want to send it to council. They're the ones who stopped it, that part, let them take it and bring it back. To keep, to tie it and all this, let the council take care of it.
Yeah,
Let
I think
them
there's a
work it.
couple of the council members that were in the audience helping you guys work on this. I remember, right?
Right.
They can pick up any errors
That's
if they
right.
want to and then send
Exactly.
it back to us.
Correct.
Okay, I'll make a motion to send, what is it,
20,
ordinance
24.
2024-04 to city council for approval.
Is there a second? My second. All those, is there discussion on it?
I think we've had the discussion, so.
Yeah,
I think we've discussed this for months.
we have. All those in favor, say aye.
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 I guess I'll go along with you, but I'm not sure.
Nay.
Okay. Motion's passed. We take it to the city council. All right. I just want to see how the city council can react to that and allow it so that we can be all one accord, because everything that we see here would have to be going through the city council anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments that would be different from what the comments we've had those up to so far? Anything new and exciting and adventurous? I have to say that I'm very pleased with everybody. I'm glad that we had what the council's about, the commission's about, is to have some very robust discussion and to make situations and to hold your own. I'm very proud of that. I want to thank again for tonight that our city government is here with us tonight to help guide us through. Thank you to the commissioners, all those who are out there, our wonderful audience, for your time. If there is no other comment, I would like to move that we adjourn. David? Okay.
7:39.